You always try to encourage me.
Here we are at Benbow. I don't know if our guests all know it, but we do have an electric charging ability for those of you that have electric cars, and I have Roger here charging his car right now. Roger, can you give us a little information about your car and how this all works?
Sure. I have actually a 1954 Morris Minor, and I modified it. I just put electric motor in where the gas motor was, and I put lithium batteries in the trunk, under 300 pounds of batteries. And I have a great car in very good condition. And when I travel, especially to places as beautiful as Benbow, it gets me there, and it's a big relief and a wonder for me to be able to just plug in. It uses less than $1 of electricity for my trips, and it's good and clean, and it's just nice to be here and have the ability to plug it in.
So when you charge your car now, and if we can walk over here a little bit and get a nicer look at the car. Now you're charging it at Benbow. Where are you headed now?
Well, my friend in Healdsburg is getting married, so my trip now is I'm going south to Healdsburg, and then I'll be returning at the end of next week. Electric cars typically these days, you're not going to have ranges of much over 100 miles or even less. But then again, when you're traveling, often that suits what your needs are.
So when you charge this now and you get it fully charged, you can go about 100 miles.
My car has a smaller battery pack because I don't travel much. I just work in Eureka and Arcata, so when I travel like this, I stop a little more often. I stop like at an RV place and charge for an hour, and then take a walk and go to the next town. And when I go up the Oregon coast, I walk on the beach and do it. But you could have the potential to go further.
Now, how do you know where these places to charge are?
There aren't many places, but I've been doing this so long, and I'm mostly going north. I know that I've talked to the state parks and the RV places, and I've made arrangements with them, because we really do have the infrastructure. There's very few motels and hotels and resorts that have stepped up to do this, and so that's really nice. But we have the infrastructure, and so I know from my years of experience.
So what we need to do, and I think this is our fault, is to maybe get the word out a little bit more in our marketing that we have the ability for anyone that has an electric car to charge it at our site.
I agree. I mean, it's not so much your fault because there aren't that many yet, but it brings the step forward. Like when I told Judy and Bill Rice in Eureka that there was one here, they got so excited, and they came down to an event and they plugged in, and they wouldn't have known that. So as we put that out a little more, and many people, when they do travel on the West Coast, especially between the areas of here and Oregon, aren't going super far in a day because the joy is to stop and enjoy the place. But it's much more secure to be able to plug in easily because your room is not necessarily where you parked, and be able to move on. So we will encourage people.
So you mentioned easily. Can we look actually to how this works?
Sure.
Can we see functionally how?
Well, for plugging in, I can use either 120 volts or 240, a standard house plug or a cord that's more like a stove one. And I have these outlets in the back of my car to my charger, and I just put the cord in accordingly, and then I go over to where you have installed some plugs.
Okay, so here's our plugs that we've installed.
So in your plug, at this point, I've plugged into one of the outlets.
Okay.
And there's a little breaker here, and I just leave it be.
So now this looks like another plug on this side. So could two people charge at once?
The way you're set up, you have a fast charging capacity and a slower one, and two could charge at once. In the case of here spending the night, slow is fine.
Got it.
If you were trying to get somewhere just for an hour or so, then you might wish it was fast.
Gotcha. So you got the fast one for somebody that's on the road.
Right.
But if I'm staying overnight, I might pull in here and plug in the slower one. Now is this cable ours or is this yours?
No, I always travel with cords.
Oh. Do most people that have electric cars have the cords?
I don't know for sure, but I would assume so, because I would never want to not travel with them because they're so light. And
right.
When there's more electric cars, and the new charging stations have built-in cords. So the newer cars do have built-in cords in those charging stations. So
we might, as a company, actually get a cord or two so we have them if someone is traveling without one. Is that
right? Well, if they have a newer car, they may very well. You might want to look into that.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to get my one of my employees. I see this is his truck, and tell him it's not parked there.
Right. It worked out. My cord was the right distance.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for giving us this information, and have a safe trip to Healdsburg.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
All right.